This is juicy stuff for you, man.
These are juicy blocks. Hey everyone, it's me, Neal Brennan. This is the Blocks Podcast. My guest today is known him 30 years. I've known him since I was probably 18. I don't know how old you were.
I was 18 as well.
And you were one of the adults that I looked up. Again, I thought you and Louie and Marin and Sarah, I thought you were all incredibly successful adults.
Oh.
Looking back, I'm like, oh, they were just like starting out, barely making a living.
Yeah, I mean, we all ended up doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But probably when you first knew me, I was not raking it in. Not that I'm raking it in now.
You and Sarah lived in the same building on 2nd Avenue.
She did. She and I lived on, 2nd Avenue in St. Mark's. We lived, and yeah.
And I lived on St. Mark's between 2nd and 3rd.
You did.
Pretty great.
Let's get real specific, New York.
It was a great time. 11 St. Mark's is where I lived. Look for it. Todd Barry is the guest, everyone. We don't talk. I mean, when we text, but we text every couple of years.
Yeah.
If I'm doing a show in New York, you'll come. I believe you've come to both my shows.
Yeah.
I don't know if I comped both.
I paid for the last one.
Great. So comped the first one, comped 3 mics, paid for blocks. Thank you for the support. And then we went out to dinner with Rock and my buddy Ezra Edelman, the director, and they were hammering me with notes. And I remember I remember the look on your face like, wow, they're really fucking hammering you.
I feel like I give you one note after 3 mics, but I don't, and you actually tried it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I don't even remember if it was good or bad. But
it wasn't bad. It was like a good idea. You said, don't say, I have one more joke. Just go do it.
Oh.
But it was like the tension of saying I have one more. It was like, was structurally nice.
Okay.
So thank you for the note. I tried it. And do you try notes? I'll try notes if people give them to me.
Yeah. It's just, there's always that thing of like, someone you don't know walking up to you, hey, do you take tags? And you're like, because the chances of it being a good tag are extremely slim.
Yeah.
But you never, I remember I had a waitress at Catch, the old Catch Rising Star, and she just gave me a note about there was like a logic error in my joke. And I don't remember what the joke was, but it was like, oh yeah, like where you couldn't have done that and then done that. Like, oh fuck, you're right.
A logic error seems like your kryptonite. You'd be like, oh, fuck, what am I even doing here?
Yeah, that does you feel like, do I know how to talk?
Yeah. Well, you and I have something in common, which is we both like a showroom to be a certain way. We're both very sensitive to like, that corner is being loud.
Oh, yeah.
And like, before we get on, like, are they going to do, you and I are big, I'm like, are they going to do something about that?
I do that, yeah. Sometimes, you couldn't misread a crowd because some people settle down once the show starts. But there are people like, they're walking in, you're like, there's going to be a situation here.
Yeah. All right, let's but I don't know anything. I know that you were a teacher in Florida.
I was a teacher in Florida, yeah.
And
substitute teacher.
And
New York.
Substitute teacher in New York. Fuck.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Is it significantly worse than Florida?
Yes, weirdly, like in Florida, at least they left you with a lesson plan. Like the teacher would be like, hey, I'm making it. They're on this chapter now.
The lesson plan was fuck the students. That's the Florida lesson plan?
No, it was actually
have sex
better.
With students.
It was better than New York, because New York, you just show up and you'd be like, I guess I'm a physics teacher today. And they just, you know the way it is when there's a sub, it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
And if you give me nothing to work with, at some point I'd just be like, yeah, it is going to be a free day for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I would try to like, I'm going to be a teacher. And then I'd be like, what am I doing? The actual teacher didn't care enough.
Would you say that out loud? Or would you just stay on the desk?
I'm going to be a teacher, yeah. Raise my fists.
Where do you live now?
I live in New York.
I know, but where in New York?
Oh, in the village.
Great. You live by yourself?
I do, with a cat.
Great. Well, that's all right. Well, let me ask you this, because it's not on your blocks list, which my show was mostly about like the things I'm not doing correctly. How do you feel about never having been married?
I do have
kids.
I am in a relationship.
Oh, you are? All right,
yeah,
great.
I've had a girlfriend for almost 2 years.
Okay.
What is your question?
The question was that you blew me back. You fucking created some distance. You established, but like you never got married, never had kids. Did you ever like feel tell me your feelings and your arc on it.
I mean, marriage I'm open to, but the kids, the ship has sailed, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I have little moments where I see like, a little kid go, Daddy, like, oh my God, that must be beautiful. But then you go to the airport and you watch what happens. Like, oh yeah, I know. This seems like a nightmare.
Yeah. So it was a fairly conscious, like, it was just like a lifestyle choice of like, I don't want to do that.
It's not something where I pronounced it, but it just sort of evolved into, I guess this isn't happening, but.
Yeah. And all right. And you don't feel like you missed out on anything?
I think ultimately, having a kid, you don't want to be like, maybe I want a kid. I don't want a kid. And now I've got a kid.
Yeah.
That's probably not the most original thought, but yeah. So, I just sort of evolved into like, I never like walked around going, I don't want kids. I don't want kids. But if you ask me, I'd be like, yeah, I don't think I want kids.
Yeah. And did women ask you, and then would that be the end of relationships?
No, that's never happened. That's never
really.
No, it really hasn't. But
they knew instinctively that you.
They probably like, I don't want to have kids with this guy either. So
yeah, great, good for you. Beat them to the punch. You take the desire from them. All right, let's get into your first. You texted me a block on the way over.
Yeah,
which was misophonia.
Yeah, it's just it's a particularly sort of when you get a rage reaction, oftentimes to chewing sounds and eating sounds, and I have that, and it's do
you have like little mouth?
Oh,
little mouth noises.
Little gum chewing. Like to me, when I go to the movies and there's someone walks in with a popcorn, I'm like, why do they serve popcorn in a movie?
Yeah,
it seems like the most bizarre.
I'm sure there's some stupid reason why, like the guy who owned a theater, his brother owned a pot of corn, whatever.
But even like in Broadway shows, you can buy like Twizzlers and stuff. Like chefs have this much respect for everyone.
Well, that's to say nothing of the rapper.
Yeah, when I lived in Florida, there were these matinees. I had friends who were in plays and stuff, and they would make announcements because these old people would like open up a sour ball, and it'd take them like 15 minutes, and it's like, do you need to have candy when you're watching a play? And it's like, but they'd make a specific announcement. Please don't open your
sour balls, particularly.
That's the one that seemed to be the one that was harder to navigate. That was a challenge, like cracking a safe. But you just hear it. And you're like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah. The thing with, because how long I've known you and like how I picture your life before I met you, you were in bands, right?
I was in a few bands, yeah.
A few bands in Florida. When I think about you, I think about you living in basically like all of America being a cultural desert, meaning to hear about bands in the 80s was like, how? It was all just like flyers and word of mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think about you in terms of, even when I think we probably used to go to movies sometimes in the early 90s of like in the afternoon, or go to like Angelica and it's like a different world now. It's a completely different world that I don't even think people would believe the world you inhabited at one point.
Oh, you mean just the technology? Or?
What's available?
Yeah.
Because I think about you going to a matinee of a play in Florida, and I think about how difficult that must have been for people to get the word out about a matinee play in Florida.
It's I remember a guy even early in New York when I would do like a solo show and I get postcards printed up, and I gave one to this guy. He's like, "That's the East Village handshake." It's kind of like, I used to get postcards printed up, and be like, "Here's a postcard from my show." But it is crazy. And I remember when someone explained Napster to me, I was like, that can't be a real thing. Like, what do you mean?
Every song?
Well, just explain the idea of like, oh, you can grab someone's music off their computer. Like, what do you even mean by that? It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, because I think about you as like, I just think about you in like Paul Westerberg, or like just bands that I missed because by the time, whatever. Okay, so how does the misophonia wreak havoc on your life, if it does at all?
Well, it's just a thing where, especially with new people, because you don't want to say to someone, I've told friends, like, you you can't eat like that. Like where it's just so, it's like I can choose to be possibly offensive and have a ruined dinner.
Yeah. How do I handle this? Do I ruin this?
But it's like, it's also, the roughest is in like dressing rooms, backstage dressing rooms. That's where dressing rooms generally are. But where like it's a comic I don't know, and then you just see him reach for that carrot, and you're like, oh God,
here we go.
And that crunch, it just echoes. It just, But I will often, I try not to be like directly dealing with it. I'll just kind of like, I think I'm just going to sit in this other dressing room and eat. I'm going to get ready for my show. And
yeah.
And
I'm crazy.
Not listen to you eat. And, but.
Yeah, a lot of life is pretending that you're the problem.
Or if you get on a plane. Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm weird.
Yeah.
I don't like people bumping into me or making incredibly loud eating noises.
Yeah, I mean, that and whistling.
Whistling. Interesting.
Like something. I mean, I've been to coffee shops where the barista is whistling. It's like the combination of what coffee does to your nerves combined with whistling.
Yeah, and plus an espresso machine.
Yeah, well, that doesn't bother me for some reason.
Are you disgusted by human mouths?
It is because that's a good question, because I've seen videos of like a panda eating a carrot. I could watch that all day long.
So is it the presumption? I know there is something so decadent about human just like, you ever see Kroll's bit about people eating in the 70s in movies?
It's the character I call 70s eater.
So goddamn funny. But there is something funny about how just like, I got chips and I'm sitting there. It's as much of like as much as it's about sound, it's about like, who do you think you are?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's also the thing of like licking your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
That drives me crazy. It's like someone eating wings.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You could just grab your napkin, go whoop, and you're done.
What
are you getting, that last little drip of sauce in your mouth? Are you enjoying that? I mean,
it's like what an animal would do. But it's not cute. Animals have an excuse.
That's the thing, like the panda, getting back to the panda.
Of course.
The panda is not being like, you can't tell the panda, hey, can you take it down in a couple of notches? You're being ridiculous. It's like, oh, that's the way they're supposed to eat.
And you consider the zoo the panda dressing room, right? You've always considered that the panda's dressing room. And what do you do about it? Not just like, what?
I mean, I try to avoid it. Yeah, duck out. Occasionally I will hit it head on, or just say, I want to eat by myself.
Okay, here's a question. Okay. In relationships with women.
Yeah.
How soon do you like to roll out your stuff? Your blocks, as it were.
Well, it's interesting. My first date with my girlfriend now, we were talking, it was going really well, and then somehow I brought up I have misophonia, and she just lit up.
Yeah.
It was like, holy shit, I've been looking for, like, I know she said I've been looking for someone with misophonia, but just like, I have the same thing, and oh my God.
And does it line up pretty easily? Like, are there things like, does the panda bother her? Has she passed the panda test?
I don't know if I've sent her the panda carrot video, but I will as soon as we're done here. Yeah, but I remember that was a big moment where we're both like, feel relieved, because also then you're like, I'm going to be eating with this person.
Yeah. When she licks her fingers, if she were to, in the unlikely event she licks her fingers, are you more likely to give her some grace?
I got to say that's never happened. She's a great eater.
Great. I mean, but in some ways you're right to, a lot of relationships are just like mutual dislikes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of a specific one, and it's probably something she's walked around with and not everyone gets it or even knows what it is. And then to hear me bring it up on a first date.
Of all places?
I don't know how it came up on a first date, but yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine. I see couples like eating across from each other, and they're both like, both eat like pigs. And you're just like, I guess it's good you guys found each other. But it's also weird when one of them does and the other doesn't. It's like, that's who you live with?
Yeah. I mean, again, that's most relationships. It's like, that's who you, like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
But again, don't take it from us. Guys, give yourself the gift of insane savings this holiday season with Mint Mobile's best wireless deal of the year. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months for free. That's 6 months of premium wireless service for the price of 3. Mint Mobile lets you order and activate from home while saving tons on phone plans starting at just $15 a month. Seriously, I can't think of a better gift than turning an overpriced wireless bill into just $15 a month with Mint Mobile. I just thought of a better gift maybe, which is when I text you to come on my podcast, Ryan Reynolds, you respond, I was ghosted. And I'd love to call you on Mint Mobile, but I can't if you don't return my initial text. And also he started the conversations. To me, it's entirely his fault and not in any way based on the sweatiness of asking a big movie star to do your podcast. You could literally save like $100 a month on that. Mint Mobile's best offer of the year is here. For a limited time, buy any 3-month plan and get 3 more months for free. By going online and eliminating the traditional cost of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings on to you. All plans come with unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan. Switch easily and effortlessly with eSIM. If you need a new device, for a limited time, get 6 months of free service. So that's entirely 6 months. When you buy a select device and plan, switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. For a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months for free, or 6 months when you buy a new phone by going to mintmobile.com/NEAL. That's lowercase. mintmobile.com/NEAL. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/NEAL. Ryan, please text me back. Guys, you know how you worry, and it's always about tickets. You shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next event. GameTime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the theater, music, comedy, sports, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Let's see what we got coming. College basketball is back. I used to not like it because they couldn't profit from it, but now I kind of like it because all the athletes are no longer being exploited. All Elite Wrestling is going to be at the Forum soon. Wrestling, everyone knows my love of wrestling. The documentary Beyond the Mat, one of the better documentaries of all time. Hockey is back and more murdery than ever. It's Mariah Carey, Hollywood Bowl. I wonder if she's going to do All I Want for Christmas. We'll see. She's going to keep you guessing. Does she save it for the encore, do you think? I think if I were her musical director, I'd say open with it, encore with it. You know what I mean? You can't hear it enough, especially this time of year. Am I right? John Fogerty. He was one of in the 80s, there were a lot of songs about baseball, and I think he made one of them. John Fogerty, I believe he sang Put Me in Coach. It's just about baseball and how the players were handsome, and that was all we needed back then. Shalou. There's a guy named Shalou. SHALLOU. Promo code Shalou. For tickets, for Shalou tickets. It sounds like they took their name from a lie where they were like, they're like, hey, I can't meet you, baby. Why not? And he's like, I'm going to a concert. She goes, who? And he goes, Shalou. It's a good app. Last minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code BLOCKS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem BLOCKS. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, ga-ga-ga, ha-ga-ga, ha-ga-ga, ga-ga-ga, ga-ga-ga. Okay, this is one I didn't see coming because you don't know anyone. Fear of lightning / storm.
Yeah.
Pretty good one.
I thought when I was writing these blocks, I go, I think he's going to like these. Who else is showing up with the lightning one?
Yeah, no, that's the first.
That's
a lot of people, anyone can fear confrontation.
Yeah.
Takes a real blockhead to fear lightning. Go on.
It's something I've had for as long as I can remember. I don't remember, there's no incident where that was the day I almost got struck by lightning.
Yeah.
But I remember this job, my first job was at a country club in Florida, South Florida.
Sure.
Where I had this dream job in a way. I always wanted jobs where I was alone. I didn't have to work with anyone, which, makes sense now. But I had this job sort of taking care of the clay tennis courts. You'd get on a golf cart, you have a brush behind you, and you brush and you smooth them out, and then you do it twice a day. And I remember it paid like $3.50 an hour, which back then was like way above minimum wage. But then there was lightning. I couldn't deal with it, and
Well, Florida, there's lightning almost every day.
It's been a while since I lived there, but it was brutal, and I just was like, I can't do this. But I mean, I've had it. It's an
You
issue.
threw away a lot of good money.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What do you like? Is it in your body? Where is the fear?
Yeah, definitely feel it in my body, and it's also a thing where, like, I mean, the reason it's more debilitating than it might sound is that, if I'm somewhere and I'm looking at the weather and I just see that lightning bolt, 3:00, you see that lightning bolt in the forecast, I get a physical reaction. And I've also, sometimes, I mean, maybe I'm making myself sound crazier than I actually am, but it's too late for that. Sometimes if it just looks like it might storm, like, then you end up taking like, I'm going to take an Uber to my $25 set and spend $20.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of like, and then it doesn't lightning at all. And you're like, oh, I could have just walked that.
Somebody owes me money.
But when I see people walking like in a storm and just like with their little umbrella, because not technically, but it is dangerous.
Yeah.
It's an actual legit thing to.
I haven't ruled out that the fact that I could be struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why wouldn't I be struck by lightning? It's not. I don't think it never happens. I don't think it happens very often. But if you're walking in a lightning storm, first of all, it's pouring rain. So right there, I don't want to be there. Right. And then the fact that just like literally a lightning bolt, just a random like that tree, that fucking power line.
And the thunder really makes it just a little more.
Really drives the point home.
Exactly. It's a highlighter for the lightning.
Yeah, it really makes it.
Yeah, I mean, there's times like, I remember there was my old apartment, there was one of those like speed cameras that just like flashed every once in a while.
Yeah.
And if it was like stormy out or it seemed like it might be stormy, I would jump at that because I would think that was lightning.
Well, how do you feel about sirens?
I feel like in New York, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this, I feel like they're a little louder than they need to be. But
I totally agree.
And also that air horn, is just so harsh. But I'm also not a firefighter, so I shouldn't.
Right. Have you ever thought about Asperger's?
I have. They are sound sensitive,
Asperger's?
right? I don't think, I might be spectrum-y. I don't know.
Probably.
Now that everyone is, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember, because its sensitivity to noise is like a really big one.
Yeah.
And sensitivity to fabric is a big one.
I have that sometimes too, a little bit.
What have we here, ladies and gentlemen?
This is the first podcast / diagnosis.
I got diagnosed on a podcast.
Really? For what?
For autism.
Oh, do you think you got?
The guy said, Scott Barry Kaufman is the guy's name.
I have a test here, and I'm not going to say what this is a test of.
And people at home, try to guess what it's a test of.
He diagnosed me for covert narcissism, and I got double. I'm a double winner. And then he recommended a test for autism. The lowest you can get and be considered autistic is 26.
Oh, so you're
or I'm on the spectrum, whatever. Spectrum disorder, whatever fucking. But I feel like if I'd answered two questions differently, I wouldn't be. So it's
is it like a real precise test, or
No.
is it just kind of like?
So there's no blood test. There's no like here. So I'm gonna go ahead and diagnose you.
All right, here we go.
For free, because the test was expensive.
Well, I'd love to save this money and just get it right.
Yeah,
here.
I'll save you the money right here. You got it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Asperger's, or do you think just?
I don't know. It's all spectrum disorder. It's all autistic personality.
What
spectrum.
exactly is the fabric thing? Is it like rubbing up against you?
You don't like certain fabrics make you nuts. Like you can't. You get if you touch them, you like can't focus.
I don't think I have that. I have it when sometimes my clothes sticking to me, but
that's why I don't like cold weather, because of the humiliation of static cling, where it's just constantly like, it's like you can't get jackets and fucking, it's pretty disgusting. And so it will affect your plans. That's wild. That thunder and lightning will affect your plans.
Yeah, I've also,
and again, it sounds like, well, you let it affect, but I get it. I pretty much own it. It's like,
Because also it's like, what is someone going to do? Like get lightning and throw it at me or something?
Right. Yeah.
There's nothing to lose by saying I'm afraid of lightning. But I've run away from people who I'm walking down the street with, and
Great.
but I explain it. I'm afraid of storms and gotta go.
Oh, you like quickly say before you
Yeah, I mean, I was
off?
out with my girlfriend and some of her friends, and we were in this restaurant in Brooklyn in a patio, and we heard like little rumbles, and I was like, I hate to do this, but
Yeah.
I gotta go inside. And they're like, no, let's go inside. They were very like,
Great.
what you want in that situation. Instead
They were
of
like, do you have misophonia?
they weren't like, what the fuck's wrong with them? They were like, let's go inside.
Great.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're with the right lady. I'm sure it still won't work, but just because that's how relationships are. But you know.
Are you with someone now? Am I allowed to ask you questions?
No.
No.
I mean, no. Is the short answer is no. Number 2. Didn't know this either. Hoarding.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Hoarding. That's not easy where you were living. Not a lot of room to hoard.
I know.
Although high ceilings in that building, I remember.
Oh, I mean, I have really high ceilings now, but my problem is I
You live in a hoarder's loft, they call it?
It is lofty, but I am not wired to be organized, and I definitely have hoarder I'm not like, like I need to save this pizza box forever. Like I'll throw the pizza box out.
Sure. But you'll keep the wax paper
I'll keep
then?
the pizza. There's like a little crust. I'll keep that forever.
Sure.
But I mean, I'll find things that are just like, be walking around my kitchen. I'll find like a business card someone gave me like 25 years ago. Like, how'd this end up next to my sink?
And how did it, Todd?
I probably put it there, but I.
And do you not see it anymore?
What do you mean?
All right. The guy gives you a business card in 1998.
Yeah.
And then you put it in your pocket.
That I might throw out.
Okay.
That I might throw out. I mean, I've gotten, but like when I moved a few months ago, and it was a TV, and I'm doing a sublet. Is there a TV? And I actually threw out my slightly broken plasma TV, and it's not easy to do, but it is kind of broken. And then once you do it, it's not like I'm going, I miss my TV. So Sarah, the aforementioned Sarah, I have this big CD rack that has like 800 CDs on it. And she came by to look at my new apartment. She's like, oh, you got to get rid of those CDs.
Sarah Silverman?
Yeah. And she's right, but I can't do it.
CDs, a technology that you do not use.
Yeah. No, you can, I'm going to lose the argument if we just do it that way.
If we play this thing out, we game this out.
Yeah.
And well, tell me what's your argument?
I don't know, because hoarding, I think can it come from trauma, but I didn't have a particularly traumatic life.
Yeah. Well, I think there's also something to be said for like people just come out with pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, that's true. It could be just my mom had it a little bit. She was a bit
That's always a fairly good indicator.
Yeah. Probably not as bad, but she saved stuff. And then my dad when she passed away, he just bulldozed through the
I have a, it's not a hoarding issue, but it is like, I don't know I don't like just throwing it in a landfill. I feel like an asshole. Just be like, you take it, Earth. Like, fucking, here's my shit. Enjoy it. And there's a decadence that I don't like about it that I will, if you want to argue that, I'll support you. Like, so you're just going to throw away a bunch of plastic and whatever the discs are made of? Silicone?
But there's also sometimes throwing away stuff that's like, I don't end up with 2 dish racks. I don't need 2 dish racks. But if I can just throw something that's a perfectly good dish rack.
Right.
But it's also like, what am I going to do? Like, bring it to the Salvation Army? And
yeah,
I guess I could.
Yeah.
But I'd feel a little weird just walking. Got a dish rack for you guys.
Where's your dish rack section?
I'm going to say 75 cents on this. Fairly clean. But yeah, I have storage units and.
Here we go. Yeah, Yeah, storage units of stuff that you can't throw away.
I know. Like I was thinking, there's some of this stuff, a lot of this stuff I'm never going to see for the rest of my life. But I'm saving it. I think I have this mythic day that I'm going to sit down with. I've hired home organizers many times. I should say that.
I had a female friend just at my old place go like, she was staying there for a week, and she's like, I'm hiring an organizer. I'm getting rid of half the shit. And I was like, all right. And I don't even know what you got rid of, and I don't miss any of it, and I don't care.
I mean, the home organizers have been very helpful, but I have too much stuff, man.
You have a bunch of dish racks in a storage unit?
I actually did. I think sometimes I just was like, fuck, I am going to throw away a dish rack. It's perfectly good. I don't know what else to do with it. I'm throwing it away. And then you feel like, all right, I fucking did something.
Does that feel like, I'm a fucking healthy person?
Yeah, that does feel good. And I mean, often I get sentimental about things and then I give them up and I don't really, even like that apartment I lived in with Sarah, this is kind of a shithole, mice and everything. And I lived there a long time, like over like 18, 19 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd be like, I'm going to stay there. First of all, it's easy to just sign a lease and renew rather than move.
Yes.
So there's
Moving
that. I will give
huge
myself that credit. But I remember thinking, oh man, I like my little apartment. And it's like, it's got mice.
Bro.
So, and then I moved out and I left and I took a few pictures of the place.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know where they are. And
probably in the storage unit.
I'm fine.
How much are you paying for the storage units?
Which of the 4 storage units?
Fucking Christ. But right there,
this is juicy stuff for you, man.
These are juicy blocks. It's got to be several $100s a month.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And you're just willing to eat it, even not knowing what's in it.
You know what the problem is? Because I think I'm ADHD, which I put on my list. Right. Sometimes I don't know where to begin.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's that thing, where do I start? Start somewhere with like writing or something. Yeah. But I mean, I try. And I think there is just a thing, an ADHD thing where you're just like, I'll look at I remember when I lived on the Lower East Side, I got to clean my table, my desk here. I got to do that. And like, there was a building being built, and I watched like 15 stories of this building be built before I cleaned my table. I was like, oh, they're building
a perfect passage.
They're building a 600-room hotel here, and I can't just straighten out my desk. Yeah. But I think it's wiring. It's wiring.
It's your wiring.
Do you think it's wiring?
Yeah. It seems like it just seems like, aren't you cheap also?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. I just assume, meaning like, well, you mentioned spending $25 for $20 or $20 for a $25 set. Like, I assume you're like, want to hold on to your money.
Oh, I mean, I'm careful sometimes, but then I'll spend a ridiculous amount on lunch.
Blow it out.
Like, why don't I just spend fucking $30 for a chicken Caesar salad?
Yeah, because you're in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want someone to close down your storage units. I mean, I want them to do like a Hoarders episode. Having said that, I've only watched like promos for Hoarders, and it makes me.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that level where like Hoarders, if they were scouting, they would be like, yeah, not.
Does anyone
close,
ever say
cigar.
I'm pretty bad? I feel like everyone goes, I'm not like fucking that one lady.
I used to do a great bit about home organizer. I forgot it though. But anyway, just as long as I let you know it's great.
He's forgotten more good bits than you're ever going to write.
What was your question now?
My question is, what are we going to do about your storage units?
I guess, I feel like I have this vision of like I have a storage unit in Florida also.
Is that fifth? Is that a fifth one? Would that be a fifth, or that's the fourth?
Well, I mean, I have storage in my building. I have this other storage that's like they came and picked some stuff up. I have another storage unit, so 3 or 4 maybe.
Unbelievable.
I know it is. It's kind of crazy.
Multiple states.
Yeah. I had this vision of like just going into a football field and dumping all my storage unit stuff, just going through it. I don't know if anyone can arrange that, but does anyone own a football field and a really big blanket?
Yeah.
But I mean, no, you're right. And the money is just kind of
just hemorrhaging.
Yeah, it is hemorrhaging. Yeah.
And why? You know what I mean? Spending on something else.
But then there's part of me that, because the thing is, like with messy people, some messy people are actually more organized.
I get that.
Like the guy who's like, hey, you moved my salt shaker 3 inches to the left.
Yeah.
Might not be as organized. The guy with the messy desk is like, I know where my wallet is. It's under this magazine here.
Yeah. It's under the business card from 1998.
It's under the business card from that. from a half a bottle of hotel shampoo
from a
Ramada
embassy
Inn.
suites that no longer exist. Well, what do you make of this? Is a kind of a broader question, but do you think your approach to life is good? Is it just like, do you think everyone's just like, I just got this car and I'm just trying to drive it? Is your approach, do you have any agency over your own life, or are you just like, I'm fucking doing my best and let's see what happens? Or do you improve? Do you create personal goals, lifestyle changes, and do them?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I've started to exercise a little more.
Right.
Although when I'm on the road, I almost not at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely try to improve my life, and I mean, some things are just like constant. Like diet is just like, I don't eat well, but
That's surprising.
I mean, I eat better than some people. I am somewhat aware of what I'm eating, but I don't have like a shake and fries and a Big Mac. But I will have the fries and the shake. No. And then, also the Big Mac. But like an hour later.
I consider you intelligent. I consider you like well-read.
Mm-hmm.
I consider you watch all the documentaries.
Yeah, I watch all the
But I'm saying, it seems like you'd be fastidious about optimization, but maybe you're just not.
I am. I mean, I'm pretty good about making doctor appointments to check stuff out.
Sure.
And, I'm contacted a psychiatrist about ADHD.
Great.
I mean, I don't know what I could do at this point in my life, but
yeah.
Because I went to one guy who was kind of like, I think there's a lot of Dr. Feelgoods in this area.
Sure.
Where you just go, hey, I kind of unorganized. Okay, here's my pad.
Yep. Well, I looked up why they're so good sort of slutty about prescriptions.
Yeah.
Is because one of the reasons is there was a guy in the 60s who was in a mental hospital for bipolar and manic depression, and they didn't give him medication as like a test.
Uh-huh.
Like, let's see.
Yeah.
And he got out and then sued them and won. It's like, you can't not give people shit if they tell you their symptoms.
Right.
So now they're just all kind of like, yeah, whatever you need, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, this just seemed like a quick assessment. He didn't really, I don't know. I feel like there should be like a 700 question test or something. But.
Yeah. I mean, the more you, everything's real ramshackle. Every single human endeavor is.
Right. I mean, for the ADHD, all I want to do is I would like to have like a little pill that I take to clean my apartment. I don't want to be on something.
Got it.
4 hours a day.
I see. I have no opposition to being on something.
I mean,
what do I care?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm on caffeine. I'm on food. I'm on whatever.
All right, I'll be on something.
Hey, so we all know the holidays is a tough time for our mental health because we have to deal with so much family and the feelings of loneliness and not enough. My wheelhouse, plus Santa, just Santa. Santa's out there thinking about what Mrs. Claus is going through, let alone the reindeers who he tortures. But adding something new to your life can counteract some of those feelings. Therapy can be a bright spot amid all of the stress and change. It can be something to look forward to make you feel grounded, and to give you the tools to manage everything that's happening. Again, how much more could I talk about therapy? It's impossible. I believe in therapy. I've gained a ton from therapy, and I want the same for you. You don't have to be traumatized. You don't have to have like a thing like this happened to me, so now otherwise I wouldn't come. Just go. No one's worse off for having gone to therapy. Therapy helps everyone. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, which I'm assuming you are if you're listening to this podcast, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist. And by the way, you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Find your bright spot. Get the reindeer out of your head this season with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Neal today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/NEAL. That's BetterHelp.com/NEAL. Thank you, BetterHelp. Thank you. Guys, can we talk about something important to me? Dr. Squatch. sounds like a morning radio host. Isn't, is a soap. Two very different things. Is not a morning radio host, is a soap. Dr. Squatch. Last time I made this ad, I hadn't used it, so I was technically lying. But I have used 2 different bar scents. Dr. Squatch. First of all, I missed bar soap. I kind of owe bar soap an apology because I went to Liquid. I got a giant vat of, I don't need to say what kind it was because it's not an ad for them. It's for Dr. Squatch. And I like the bar soap. It smells kind of like simple. It's got a simple smell. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a masculine bouquet. That's just the truth. I always thought I had a masculine bouquet. A lot of people say I have a masculine bouquet. And I never disagree with them. And then I smelled actual masculine bouquet, and boy, was I wrong. But I would like to say it's not an overpoweringly masculine bouquet. And I don't really wash my face with that soap, so my skin is any different that I'm aware of. But, it's just good. It's just good. It's like just a good, clean soap. Like, this is a good, clean soap. Here's some factoids. High performance natural products, 98% natural. OB certified, no harmful ingredients. Have you look, smell, feel your best. Masculine bouquet. Sensory experience in the shower. I like because it leaves me not covered in film. They want me to say it's a good holiday gift. I don't think anyone's excited about soap. So it's a good, well, you know what? Good holiday gift for you, my friend. Do you want a masculine bouquet? I got it. We got it. Buy 3 soaps and get 3 soaps for free. That's $28 in savings, like getting each bar for $4. Offer is only valid for new customers. Free shipping. One of Dr. Squatch's founding missions is to encourage men to pay attention to the ingredients they use on their body. They got a cool, fresh aloe soap. They got a pine tar soap. They got Fresh Falls, Bay Rum, Wood Barrel. I've used Wood Barrel Bourbon and Fresh Falls. Right now, Dr. Squatch is offering my listeners a huge savings. Huge savings. All new customers will get 3 free bars of soap plus free shipping with any purchase of 3 bars. Just go to drsquatch.com/NEAL to receive this buy 3, get 3 offer. That's drsquatch.com/NEAL to buy 3 soaps and get 3 free with free shipping. It's time to get all the daily routine essentials you'll need to start feeling good and smelling like a man today. Masculine bouquet, trademark. ADHD. It's all the same thing.
I think that and hoarding and OCD, there's definitely a crossover.
And no woman has ever said you have to stop hoarding?
Oh, I mean, my girlfriend now is, it definitely is something that frustrates her, yeah.
What's a fight about it sound like? I'll be her. No, but I'm saying, do you know what I mean? Do you get?
That's me.
Do you get quiet? Do you sulk? How do you argue? Are you passive aggressive?
I don't think I'm passive aggressive, but I'm definitely not a screamer or yeller. And I've definitely driven people crazy in the past who, like, I stay calm and they're like, "Oh, you're used to freaking out. People freak out. I'm going to disappoint you."
Yeah. I'm never going to freak out.
Because I'm going to listen. And I mean, I'm not perfect, obviously, but I think I remain calm and try to stay logical. But I'm also, I can be, out of my mind also.
Irritated or like incredibly angry?
I get little frustrations. I'm not like if there's things that make me particularly angry, like if I lose something, like my keys or something, it might be, I don't yell and scream, but I'm clear. It might not be great to be around me when I lost my keys.
Interesting.
No, I'm not going to punch the wall. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to take it out on you.
I can see,
you
like,
just
whirling
see the,
dervishy,
yeah.
Yeah.
You just see the.
Yeah. Like drill a hole wherever you're standing with your energy.
Right.
All right. And then, of course, OCD. Who can forget OCD?
Yeah. Do you have any OCD issues?
I don't think I do. I'm trying to think of what I don't think. Give me some examples of yours and maybe I do.
Well, I mean, this might be ADHD also, but like if I take something out of the dryer and drop it on the ground, I'm like, like I've gotten better. Like I used to just like throw it back in the wash. I'd be like, I'm not going to. And then I said, a sock on the ground for 4 seconds. It's not even 4 seconds. It's probably not dirty still, but just so that kind of thing would be like me go, but then I get a few weird ones where like I'll get like I'm not like a basket case on this, but like one that I've had a few times lately is where I'll be in a store and I'll want to know what something costs, even though if I'm not interested in, like, to see something that doesn't have a price tag. And it drives me crazy that they don't have a price tag. And
you look at every size tag to see if any of them have a price tag.
I've done that before.
Will you then like demand to know how much it
No.
costs?
I mean, a lot of this stuff I check myself and I'll be like, all right, just fucking like, like with the dropping something on the ground, I'll be like, I'll be like, but I will, it's not going to ruin anyone's day or my day, but
You don't have to go home.
Go home?
Well, like you don't have to like yeah, I don't have any OCDs. Like I'm trying to think of feel like maybe I'm forgetting one, but I don't yeah, I don't know.
I have them with numbers a little bit, things that are numerical, just like I remember I did a movie and the guy was telling me
Todd Barry's in The Wrestler, by the way, very good in The Wrestler.
What's the matter? Did they raise the price of tights?
I did one of my movies, I can't remember which one, but I remember the guy was explaining what they were paying for, like, I don't know, per diem or something. And I was like, it wasn't quite like, well, on this day you get it. And I really was like asking a lot of questions about it because it was driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Not that I was like, felt like I was being ripped off or anything.
I'd be more apt to think I was being ripped off.
Yeah.
Like I would be like, wait, but it is most of what people consider like pains in the ass or freakouts is just someone dealing with some weird mental process that they can't. Like they were probably like, what's this fucking guy? Buddy, it's $55. But you were, and it's not like about the $55.
Right.
You blow that on storage in an hour. But I'm saying
a bagel for that much.
I mean, please. But yeah, I don't think I have any OCDs.
Trying to think if I have any other fun ones. Yeah, I mean, there's times, I'll just get compulsion to buy something that I don't really want, and can't think of an example, but so
I like razors and vacuums, but I don't buy. I like them. Like I could look at vacuums on Amazon like for a long time. Razors.
I don't know if this is real. I went through my shaving phase where I got a single blade razor.
Yep.
And, I got into shaving cream and then, that's that frequent flyer miles.
Oh, there you go. I could almost tell you my balance on most airlines right now.
Yeah.
My Marriott Bonvoy.
Yeah.
I'll call about in fact, I got an ongoing thing right now with the JW Marriott in Houston about a credit and they didn't give me, and they wanted me to reauthorize a credit card. And I'm like, I fucking gave it to you twice. But again, why do I care? I don't know. I may not even use them. I just want the miles.
Sometimes you just it's a real good
hit refresh. See if they kicked in
right. Yeah,
yet for the flight.
Like I fly United, now they give you your miles as soon as you land. You get credit.
American's real good. Bonvoy, yeah. Well, but sometimes you'll go on and they'll give you the baggage claim. Don't bother. Give me the miles. Meaning they'll tell, like, you just landed.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, well, your baggage. And you're like, I don't get I don't do baggage.
Do you ever complain to airlines?
I think I've written maybe an email.
Yeah.
I'm having a real ongoing thing with Marriott Bonvoy.
What did they do now? Let me see if I can help you with this.
They are very inconsistent about credit. If you get it on a Expedia or whatever, they give you no credit. If somebody, here's the one that I had to go to the mattresses for. Okay. So I'm doing a commercial in Mexico City. I'm directing a commercial in Mexico City. I'm the director. I can decide where the 10 members of the crew are going to stay.
Uh-huh.
I pick a Bonvoy hotel and I get no credit for it for 11 nights. No credit because it wasn't on my credit card. The amount of business I brought them is staggering.
I once got an argument with Hilton, or I had a feud with Hilton about this thing where
if you're just joining us, it's the worst podcast of all time.
It's, hey, welcome to Petty Town. But they because they didn't give me credit because someone else paid for it. I go, when someone buys you a plane ticket, you get the miles. He's like, we're not an airline. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you could be nicer.
Marriott has the same policy. infuriating. And I explained to them, like, I'm responsible for 10 reservations for 11 nights. And you won't
Whose credit card was it?
The production company.
Oh.
Or like Gatorade. It was Gatorade.
Oh.
So somewhere Gatorade is fucking living the high life right now. Gatorade.
I had a thing, I don't know if you've ever had this in the hotel where, oftentimes our hotels are paid for.
Yeah.
And 80% of the time you show up to like, oh, what? I go, someone's paying for this room. Oh, I don't see anything in the system. And like that happened the other night. And I kind of got like I don't get snippy with people because I just don't. But I approached visible like frustration because then it's just like, you don't understand. This is the 80th time in 2 months that this has happened.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why
can't they work that? It's because human beings are involved and we're not great. We're just not great. That's my conclusion is like human error. Now I get pissed at like policies, like at a Marriott Bonvoy hotel in New York. They won't get, I know they're not going to give me credit if I do it through Expedia or whatever, but they do give you credit if you do it through American Express. Sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes. And the front desk told me to re-up on American Express. And then the front desk told me and I didn't get points. Infuriating. And I will not stand for it. There's nothing we can do about it, Todd. It's Chinatown.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
I wish the whole podcast were about this.
I mean, I think we
I
found
could do
a franchise.
30 minutes just on Marriott.
I think we found a franchise where people call in and we put them on hold, of course. And then we say that their call is important to us and then we never get to them. Ruminating, help me. Help me with ruminating.
Do you have that?
My life is one long rumination. It's ruined. I mean, who knows what I could have been in life if I weren't still arguing with people I'm arguing with if we get into an argument, it's never over.
I'll be on my best behavior then.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, it's like it's over, but rarely do I forget.
Really?
And again, yeah. And sometimes it is vengeful and petty. Other times it's just like, if I don't understand it or if I feel like it's unresolved, and it often feels unresolved, I will argue. I've made the joke before. My goal, it's me and Chappelle's mutual goal. My goal is on his deathbed, his final thought is, Neal was right. Beep. Like that, and vice versa. Like there are people in my life that it's an ongoing, like, no.
Just because they wronged you and never came clean or
they
never apologized?
Not even wrong. It's just sometimes it's like wronged is probably too strong a word. Just a different, like with Dave, it's just like it's like a difference of, I don't even know what I'd want him to think I'm right about everything, basically. Mm-hmm. But I'm in the middle of one right now.
Let's hear it.
I can't.
Oh, you
can't do it.
Okay.
But it's emails Friday. We're recording this on Monday. Email with somebody Thursday, Friday, and I'm still poring over it in my head.
Yeah, it's. I heard someone say something recently where they're talking about disagreeing with it. Sometimes it's just all right to let someone be wrong. And I thought that was an interesting. I mean, you don't always want someone to be wrong because wrong could be a lot of things. Wrong could be murdering someone,
right?
But sometimes it's just like, well,
how can I? I'm never going to convince them.
Right. So let them have this, and yeah. So that's kind of something to think about. But I ruminate. It's usually something I wish I had said, and then it's like it's too late to, and my therapist would say it's never too late, but I would disagree with her.
Wait, it's never too late.
Like if there's like, I'd tell her, I should have said something about this, and then, well, you can still say something. It's like, yeah, I'm not. Then you're like, so you're basically encouraging me to start an argument.
Right. Like, you sound like a crazy person.
Yeah.
Going back to the restaurant and going like,
there's another thing we didn't know. But that, I mean, I ruminate over, missed opportunities of just saying something like, oh, I should have said that. That would have been the perfect thing to say.
That's the French have a saying for it. I don't know what it's the wit of the staircase. It's a esprit de scale, I believe is the poor French
Holy
pronunciation. But I've thought about a lot of this.
Yeah.
I've looked it up. I've got the French shit. Like it's a real issue. And I also had I'm obsessed with fairness, which might be a little autism. Somebody was telling me, like, I just understand literal things. Like, well, no, you said this, therefore it has to be this. And it's like, or we made this agreement. How could you possibly violate it? Like, it just spins me out. Like, just gets me in the computer loop of like the bouncing ball. But I've had the thought recently, I can stand in front of the restaurant and picket it, or I can just go to a different restaurant.
Right.
But it's real hard for me to pack it in.
Yeah, I mean, I think my therapist used something about, there's an expression about justice, people who are into justice. I wish I remember what it was. But
What
like
what's
there's
the
a type
theme?
of, like you're just justice obsessed person or something like that.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. Chappelle one time said, I've never met someone more obsessed with justice than you. I can't, I'm like, but it ends up becoming like emotional vigilantism, where I can't believe that person think that I need to correct it. And I want, even when we end this, I have a phone call with a friend to talk about the problem I'm having with somebody, and to make sure my friend knows what happened, and just like, this is a giant waste of human resources.
Do you ever have this is my worst kind of nightmare, where something gets resolved in your dream and then you wake up and it wasn't, you realize, oh, that was a dream?
If you
But
think
you just remind me when you said, like, I'm sorry, or on the deathbed said, you were right.
Yeah.
Like, I'll have a dream where someone's going, yeah, man, I fucked. Yeah, you were right about that thing. And you have this great dream, and then you wake up and you're like, I'm back in this feud that I was in, or something.
That's so fun. My dreams are literal and the most poorly written.
Do you ever have good dreams? I never have good
I've
dreams.
never had a good dream in my life.
I don't even know.
I don't know when people say sweet dreams, I've literally said, what are you talking about? I don't even know how that's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Sweet dreams. Like, my grandfather was there. What? My grandfather was like a fucking alcoholic, illiterate monster. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no so-and-so and
yeah.
It's the Mitch Hedberg.
I hate to dream, because dreaming takes energy. I lay down on a bed, it feels great. Next thing you know, I have to build a go-kart with my ex-landlord.
Just like dream logic of like, what?
Yeah.
What is this? What is this nonsense? Yeah, I don't know. And I've looked up rumination a lot, and no one seems to have a good remedy.
There's a quick fix that I saw, I think, on TikTok, which is, basically you start ruminating, if you know in your heart that you're ruminating and you're not like, I need to really think about this, which just like, sometimes I'll say to myself, you've given this enough energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, for 6 months, you've been thinking about this one exchange you had with someone that you wish went differently. You can just move it along.
Well, now the funny thing is, I haven't seen your newest hour, which is called
Domestic Shorthair.
Domestic Shorthair. Came out today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Most of your act, as I recall it, was interactions with stupid people.
They are, yeah. I realized that at some point. I never thought of myself as a storyteller, but a lot of it is just like, this guy said something dumb to me.
Yeah, let's take that down.
Yeah.
So it is a rumination. It's like you made a good living off of rumination in a weird way.
But the quick fix I heard was basically, it sounds overly simplistic, was basically do anything else. Like, you find yourself ruminating, start singing a song.
Interesting.
Just snap yourself out of it, basically.
Okay.
It's kind of easier said than done. But
yeah. The other thing that I've realized is like, all these things I'm ruminating about. Some of it does end up with you end up writing a joke. That happens sometimes. Yeah. But I'm ruminating over the same 8 things for fucking 30 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, constant. I'm thankful for some of them just got retired. parents, shit like that. Like, I just like, But other ones are so endless that it's such a waste of my life.
Yeah, I've had people who are, maybe did something that pissed me off, and then I kind of privately make peace with them. I don't go, hey, it's cool.
With yourself.
Yeah, just
within
be like,
your own
what am I going
chambers.
to give this person dirty looks every time I run into them or something?
Right.
I mean, not that I've had a lot of feuds or anything, but it's happened.
Look, I need help. It's probably the biggest area I need help in.
Wow.
Of all, look, guys, not only do I cover blocks, I have them. It's like it's my OCD. It's compulsive. It's chronic. It's first thing in the morning. It's last thing I think about.
So is it stuff like an incident that happened like 20 years ago?
They're not 20, but they can be 3. They can be 2. They can be yesterday. They can be 5.
Yeah, sometimes I do the little rumination bounce around where it's just kind of like, I'm going to remember
let me check my crab.
Oh yeah,
my
then
crab
there's
traps.
that fucking guy that said something stupid to me once. Oh yeah,
Yeah, this motherfucker.
That booker who said something shitty to me.
Yeah, I don't know, and I think that there is something about comedians where we're like, it's kind of the personality makeup, but fuck, what a waste of time.
But I also think that we fancy ourselves as like people who cut through the bullshit. So if we miss one, you know what I mean? Like you miss I should have known to fucking say that thing.
Yeah. No, it is like
I do crowd work.
It's
man.
Crowd work. There are certain where I'm like weeks later I'll be like, fucking, you couldn't think. Why didn't you think of that?
Yeah.
And I still don't know the reason of that, because you're excellent at crowd work. And
what's your band?
Avant Abstract.
Oh my God. I did my business cards in that font.
What are your tips for crowd work?
I mean, I could talk about this for an hour, but I tell people not to do crowd work.
What do you mean?
Like younger comics?
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying like it like as a goal. I'm just saying, what do you think? What's like a key, like just clear headed? Like your approach?
I just kind of just start talking. I don't necessarily look for a reason to razz them, but if that comes up, then I do. But I just have a conversation and try to listen and then respond to what they're saying, as opposed to just like, I got this next zingy line coming up. But I mean, what I also do is like the other night I did some, and the guy kind of just said, I don't want to do this. I was like, we're not doing this.
Great.
You know what I mean? Like, I totally get why you wouldn't want to do this.
Yep.
And so
it is very unfair to the audience in that they're so nervous to speak in front of people, and we're so used to it, and we're elevated, we're amplified, it's like we have every advantage.
Right. And then sometimes they apologize. I'm sorry, I didn't give you anything. It's like, it's not it's my job to give myself something.
Yeah, don't sweat it. Okay. All right. Well, this is a new segment. Instead of asking people what the movie of their life would be, tell me a interaction with a celebrity that had a meaningful, a lasting impact on you, where you're like, that was interesting, or that was significant to me, or something that you think about a lot.
There's one that I think about a lot that is kind of not really a big story, but Joe Strummer.
Yeah, of course.
I was walking the East Village,
the great Joe Strummer from the
25 years ago.
I once saw not Joe Strummer, the other guy from the Clash, with you at the Gem Spa.
Oh, Mick Jones.
Yeah.
I do remember seeing him there. Holy shit.
I was with you.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But I was walking, and I just saw Joe Strummer like walking with some friends, and I was like, oh my God. And I kind of just looked, and then he made eye contact with me, and I just nodded. He goes, hello. And that was it. I was kind of like, I think that was kind of perfect in a way. Like, I didn't know, oh man, your music meant so much.
Yeah.
But so I remember that. I mean, just because it was him. But, oh man, I could tell celeb stories all day.
Man, endless. And what have you done that's gotten you healthier with this shit? Any of the OCD and the hoarding and the ADHD, and of course
the ADHD is
Misophonia.
to be determined. The hoarding, I've been hiring an organizer that helps.
Great.
And I've gotten a little better at throwing stuff out, I think.
Great.
But I mean, I still have a ways to go.
Yeah. And do you beat yourself up?
Well, the thing about the hoarding is like, I think people with ADHD people, which I'm self-diagnosed, I guess, have a clutter problem, but also they hate clutter. So that's sort of
that's pretty cool.
A double a damned if you do kind of situation. But yeah, because it's like, it's not like, I like that my place is stuffed with stuff, but I kind of don't.
Yeah. I can't imagine you would. I can't imagine anyone would. And how do you feel like your life's going? That's a very broad question.
Oh my God. I mean, I feel pretty good. Like today, I feel good because I have this special that I filmed over a year ago, and it's finally coming out. And so far, from the 18 times I've checked the YouTube page, it's
doing good.
It seems to be, the comments seem to be pretty positive. So I'm kind of feeling good because it just sometimes, like I've always done a lot of work in show business, but sometimes I didn't feel like I was in show. But sometimes you need like these kind of elevated strokes. Yeah. To feel like, like being on TV or something, to feel like I'm really in show business. But.
Yeah. Affirming. Well, you did the Blocks podcast. That's something.
Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job, right?
I think you did a great job. I think you were honest. I think you gave a good appraisal of yourself and your issues. And the storage unit is something that even Sal, I'm sure he has them, but he didn't admit to them.
Oh, is he a hoarder?
He's a hoarder. Really a hoarder. Saves every receipt, every tag for clothing. Saves.
Oh, really? Oh,
incredible. Incredible.
Oh, he's way worse than me.
Yeah. So
I'll
good
text
for you.
him later, and I'll tell him that.
Yeah. God bless.
I heard you were worse than me.
Todd Barry, everyone.
Thanks, Neal.
You got it.